All right, everyone, welcome to the Motherload Conversations. I am here with Roxanne Francis, who is a psychotherapist in Toronto, Canada, and we are going to be talking about all things the motherload today.
Yes.
Hi, Roxanne, how are you?
Hi, Kayla. I am well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's start with a little bit of how did you end up here today? Let's talk about your mothering role in the morning routine and what all of that looks like and what it took for you to get here today.
That's right. Okay, I have a fairly busy household. I have two little boys who are 5 and 8, and they keep me on my toes. These days, in COVID season, they wake up before I do so that they can catch cartoons before I get downstairs. Then, it's a busy day. I make breakfast for them and send them to go get dressed and teeth brushed and all that stuff. And I chase them to their corners so that mommy can do some work because I have clients that I have to see throughout the day. So we ensure that they've got books and they've got toys and they ride their bikes and all that stuff. And right now, they have their dogman books and they're kind of in a corner and I really ask them to be quiet. There's always so much going on to keep the household busy and to ensure that I can work, and it's always busy.
Yes, yes. Tell me what is different about your mothering now and pre-COVID.
Oh, wow. Pre-COVID, we were, I think, probably too busy. I think many people can attest to that. I was working outside of the home, and the mornings would be rush, rush, rush from the moment their eyes open, the moment my eyes open, until I could get them to school. Then I would go off to work, and then I would come home and then pick up this one, pick up that one. We would rush off to extracurriculars and come home and shove something down for this for supper and maybe homework and then rush to bed. And it was just always this busy, busy, busy. And since COVID, I mean, everyone's upset that we can't see each other and we're socially distant, but it has really forced us to slow down. I've seen that in my household, in the household of many of my clients and friends. Now we spend a little bit more time together. Now we don't have to rush when we open our eyes in the mornings. Now we can actually, this morning, my 5-year-old said, "Can I have pancakes?" And the answer was, "Sure." Before, the answer would have been, "It's not Sunday." Eat your cereal. And so we're spending more time together. We go for bike rides sometimes in the middle of the day, and it's a good thing.
Mhm.
Of course, this season brings a lot of concern around wellness and pandemic and all that stuff. But it has certainly allowed us to slow down and appreciate time with each other a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, isn't that true? I was actually just talking with a couple of people this last week about the gifts of COVID
Yes.
and what that looks like. And we can still, feel that anxiety and that unrest and that uncertainty and
Right.
also feel the gift, that
Right.
some of this is bringing.
Of
Um,
course.
my mom works in a small town, and what she was commenting on this weekend is the businesses that she serves, they are sold out of hot tubs, they are sold out of bikes, they are
Mm,
sold out of fire pits, they are sold out of tent trailers, like,
right.
and what that means for our larger parenting culture and the children who are growing up in this is that there is fear, there are all of the things that we all feel, but there's
Right.
also this beautifulness of, what are you doing on Wednesday? Nothing.
Nothing. That's right. That's right.
Same as last Wednesday. Same as the Wednesday before.
Before. That's right.
Yeah. So, Roxanne, tell me in your words what you feel the mother load is.
Um, I feel like the mother load is, um, well, we bear the children, we, nurse them or bottle feed them, we stay up in the night with them, we, deal with the spit up and the diapers and all that stuff. But not only are we parenting, but we are, for many of us, I can't speak for everyone, but for many of us, it's is a house cleaner, the dishes done? Is the laundry folded? Um, when is this one's dental appointment? When do they have to go to the pediatrician? Um, what's the number for the daycare? He's sick, so you got to come home and pick him up. Um, what's for dinner? What's for lunch? Who's allergic to this? Well, this one likes strawberries and that one doesn't. This one likes the sandwich cut into stars. This one doesn't want you to cut it at all. Um, you know, there's all, there's all this stuff, and I can't speak to anybody else, but for me, in terms of my mother load, it makes my brain full, just full, all the time. And then I have to remember that there's another side of me. I'm the mom, and I'm, you know, managing all the home stuff, but I'm also a psychotherapist, and I am helping people sort through their own things. And so that part of me needs to be on when it needs to be on. But when I'm done with that, my 5-year-old doesn't care what I do. He just wants me to tie his shoelaces properly, right? They want someone to kiss their boo-boos, and they don't really care that I had a trauma client. So I need to be able to pack that away, right? So there's all of that. And I have to be really, really mindful, because I'm a person too, of not falling into the comparison trap. And, you know, on top of being a mother, I'm also a sister. I'm the youngest of 3. I'm a daughter of a mom who's getting older. And so, and on top of that, I'm the only one of the 3 of us in terms of siblings who lives in this country, right? So there's a bit of it that falls on my shoulders. And so while I'm thankful to have a really great partner, there is a lot in terms of the mother load. There's always the things, like, even if my husband says, you know, I'll make the lunches, don't worry, I'll have to say, hey, no, that one doesn't like Nutella, switch the sandwiches around, right? Like, there's still all that stuff that I still have to think about, right? Yeah. He, the other day, took, my youngest has some asthma, and so he went to see a respirologist, and I couldn't make it, and my husband said, don't worry, I got it, and he took him. But eventually, I got a phone call, you know, so tell me about this puffer. And so I was on the phone while they were in the office, and I was talking to, because, you know, I've got the information. So you can't really just put yourself on pause, right? And that for me is the mother load. It's always there, and my brain is always full.
It's like the mental, I can, like, visually in my mind as you were talking, I was imagining like all of these mom file folders, yes, of like information of like, okay, yeah, in 6 months I'm going to need to remake that dentist appointment, and yeah, okay, yeah, this kid likes strawberries, this kid does not, like, and like just housing all of that information. Yeah. Yeah. And then also like you spoke to, like, I'm still a human. I have all of these other relationships in my life. And so walk me through, Roxanne, there was a really great thing that you said around, they don't care if I just had a trauma client. And right. So can you walk me through your process of going from Roxanne, the psychotherapist, to Roxanne, the mom? And I know that switch is like, it's 30 seconds in length.
Yeah. So tell me, these days it is, you know. Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah. So pre-COVID, I actually went to a location for work. And so whether that commute for different people is half an hour or 5 minutes, you still have that space between that last client that you saw before you walk in the door. I had moments where sometimes my husband would get home before I did, and I would have to text him and say, okay, I'm here, but I'm going for a walk because I just need to decompress, right? And so I had that space before I came home and had children crawling all over me. Now that commute is from my home office to the kitchen, which is like less than a minute, like 30 seconds, right? And so I don't get that chance to come down what I'll do is, I'm wearing headphones now as I speak to you. Sometimes what I'll do is I will click off my Zoom session with my client and leave my headphones on. And so I have a glass door in the office that I'm working from, and I'll see these little faces pressed up against the glass, and I'll go like this, and they know that mommy's unavailable, right? I touch my headphones and they'll recognize that I can't talk right now. So sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do that. I check my email, I might check my Instagram, and I just give myself a second, right? I work with a modality called EMDR, and I do have a number of clients with severe trauma. And sometimes I just have to give myself a second before I open up to, can I have a candy? Can I have a cookie? Right?
What are we having for supper? And where are we going on Saturday? And he hurt me while you
Exactly.
were working, and he hurt my feelings. Right. Can I watch Paw Patrol now?
Exactly. You live in my house. Exactly. And so sometimes I do give myself that second, and then I jump into, that mother load. And then once I settle them, sometimes I have to step out into the backyard, close the back door, and just sit on the stoop for a couple minutes and see if I can hear some birds, and just let myself breathe for a minute. Because really, I was reminding a colleague yesterday that we use our bodies and our minds to do this work.
Yes.
We're not tradespeople. I'm not a plumber. I don't use a physical tool to do this work where I can put it down. I use me. I use all of me. I use my emotions. I use my brain. I use the fact that I'm a bit of an empath. That part of me that connects so well with my kids and my spouse is that part of me that connects to my client. So I have to find ways of protecting that.
Can you speak more to that? How have you integrated, I'm going to use the taboo word self-care, because it's like, I know we're all rolling our eyes. I think we've heard more about it since March 14th than we have in our entire lives. Like,
that's right.
Self-care is important. It's important. You have to ask for what you need. You have to set your boundaries, adjust your expectations. But the question that I get most from my clients, and maybe this resonates with you too, is like, how do I actually do that? Like, I know this in practice. So can you speak to some of that, just some of that self-care and what you do to ensure that you can show up for your kids?
Awareness. Oh yeah. Some of it boils down to awareness, right? Just, do you recognize when you start to feel stressed? Do you recognize when you start to feel full? When you start to get irritable? When you start to not want to engage with other people? When you recognize that you're having a hard time falling asleep, or you want to stay in bed all day, all the time? What I always encourage people to do is not circle a date on a calendar 6 months from now when you're going to book your trip to Tahiti to take care of yourself. Because you have a whole self that needs to make it to 6 months from now. And if you ignore that self, you might crash and burn before you get to 6 months from now. And so instead of, I think the vacation is great, and the booking the spa days are great, but how can you maintain yourself until you get there? And I think that's what it boils down to. It boils down to maintenance. And, getting your nails done or going for massage, those things are amazing, but what are the small things that you can incorporate almost every day? Can you go for a walk, even if it's with the family after supper in the evenings? Can you sit for 5 minutes with a magazine after the kids go to bed? Can you give the kids, depending on how old they are, a 500-piece puzzle so you can sit on the couch with your feet up for a second, right? If we incorporate those little moments in our day, then what we do is we cultivate a life that we don't have to run away from, right? And that helps you to take care of yourself. I think it really is about that awareness. How do you feel at the end of your day? Depending, regardless of the work you do, whether you work outside of the home or you take care of the kids, how do you feel? Do you feel depleted and drained? Well, what can we incorporate every day? Can you watch a soap opera while you're nursing? Can you um, listen to some 80s hip hop while you're folding the laundry? Can you sing off tune while you're gardening? Like these little things, right? I encourage us to incorporate some of those things every day. And for me, everyone always asks me, what do you do for self-care? And I always like, what do I do for self-care? But a lot of the times, particularly during COVID, we go for walks after supper. We let the kids skip ahead of us. Eventually, it's, he won't let me have a steak or, whatever. But it helps me to decompress from the day of seeing clients. On days when I have clients who prefer phone over video, I ask them, is it okay if we go for a walk? And so I'll put my phone in my pocket, I put on a pair of headphones, and I put my runners on, and I go for a walk while I do my session. And that it lets me stretch my legs. I breathe in some fresh air. I listen to music. I go to the bathroom. Even if I'm going to the bathroom for a pee, I'll stay in there for 10 minutes with my head against the door. Because it's the one place, hopefully, where, people don't come looking for me. But it's, I'll tell you a story. I'm not sure how much time we have, but I've spoken about this before. But about 2 or 3 years ago, I was working for an organization and I was starting to feel depleted. But my birthday was coming up in about a month and a half. And I circled that date. I scheduled a vacation day. And I've scheduled a day for myself. The first thing on my docket was after the husband went to work and the kids were off their respective places. I was going to go get a massage. I had booked a manicure and a pedicure. I was going to take myself out to lunch with a nice magazine and just have all the, before, after school. In the morning, things went off without a hitch. One child went to school, the other one went to daycare. And I went to my massage and it was glorious. And I stepped out of the massage place and I went into my car and I grabbed my phone and there were like a million calls from daycare. And I returned the call and they said, your son has a fever and he's throwing up, you need to come pick him up. And there went the end of my day. And I love my kid and I took care of him, but I was fuming.
Yes.
And that night I had a migraine before I went to bed. And then of course the next day was a work day. And I was angry for a few days and I couldn't shake it. And I went to see my own therapist. And I said to her, oh my goodness, what the hell? And she said, Roxanne, you let yourself get too depleted and too dependent on that one day. And that's when I was like, whoa, that changed the game for me. And that's when I decided, okay, I need to start doing these tiny things just for me. Mommy can't talk now, she's busy.
Yeah.
Right? When I'm reflecting in my journal, are you working? Yeah, When I can't talk now, I'm working. Right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I do that too. My husband will look over and be like, are you doing a work thing right now? Or are you doing an Instagram thing right now? I'm doing a work Instagram thing right now. Don't bother me.
It's all related.
Oh, Roxanne, that was such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Of course.
I know we are provinces apart, but I could feel you. I could feel that sense of disappointment and that like, but this is my day.
I know.
Yes, I could feel that. And for all the people who are listening to this right now, who are finding themselves in this story where you have marked that date on the calendar or you have booked in that thing that you've been looking forward to. I second what Roxanne has said here in the sense of how do you take care of yourself a little bit every day?
Right.
to get to the next day, to get
Yeah.
to Mexico, to get to, maybe not right now, but
Yeah.
what is the thing in your life that you're looking forward to, and are you putting all of those eggs in that one basket?
That basket. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. That's it.
I resonate with you. I have a shower playlist, and
Yes.
without fail, I play that playlist every time I get in the shower, because it is a moment for me to dance without anybody looking at me.
Right. Right.
For
Exactly.
one, for one, I do dance in my kitchen, but it seems to be easier when you're by yourself. Sometimes
That's
when,
right.
especially postpartum bodies and things are jiggling in
Yeah.
places that they
Yep.
weren't before.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel different when I have not listened to that curated music for that
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes. My day is completely different. And
Right.
so it is those little things that you can incorporate into your day that allows that humanness through, that allows
Yes.
that that creative being, whether you're baking banana muffins or making a painting, that is all creativity. The way that you approach
Yes.
that and the way that you allow your kids to be involved or not be involved is
Mm-hmm.
is a way of honoring what you need. and
Right.
and that those little moments can, like you said, can kind of make or break the day or the week or the month. And how you
Yeah.
show that love to yourself is incredibly profound, and it carries through
Mm-hmm.
the days for sure. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, Roxanne, for anybody who's listening about their mother load or your own?
The only other thought that I have right now is in terms of mothering, I would say we have a lot of expectations around what our motherhood is going to look like, what our children are going to be like, what we're going to be like as mothers. I'm never going to yell at my children, or, I'm never going to let them do whatever by themselves. And then you find yourself doing that. And we are so hard on ourselves. And I would say if your motherhood isn't turning out the way you've expected it to turn out, I would say give yourself some grace and give yourself permission to carry on as best as you can. And I would encourage you to mother the parents that you have in front of you now, as opposed to mourn perpetually for the kind of parenthood that you expected, right? When my first child came around, I'd been working in children's mental health for a while, and I had a grand expectation of what my motherhood was going to be like. And he came out a screaming colicky baby, and he screamed his head off for about 4 months, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I just felt crushed. And eventually I began to, okay, so this is what it's like. All right, well, that thing that I expected, I'm just going to put it aside. And once I really honed in on mothering the child that I had in front of me, it just felt a little bit easier.
Oh, Roxanne, that is really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
Yeah,
I really, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today about the mother load. I'm
of
going to
course.
put all of Roxanne's links in the show notes for anybody who's interested in connecting with her. She's been featured in a series of articles and a series of places online. And I really think it is worth your while to get to know her a little bit better so that you can manage your own mother load. So thank you so much for being here with us today, and I hope to see you next time.
Thank you so much, Kayla. Take care.